I am looking into getting the Selfedunity domain. I feel like Selfedunity is a great brand name because it's not a word that is used. Um, it is a word that I've already been kind of planting, like throughout my YouTube channel, throughout Patreon, and now my website as well. I think even Instagram. I've been tagging it and then putting the word here and there, where it fits. And now I'm publishing my books through Selfedunity. It felt more natural for me to put Selfedunity as in, like, put Selfedunity on my journals versus Selena Dubea. Because for me, a journal is more personal, private than a book, right? And so to have Selena Dubea on the journal, I don't like it. To have Selfedunity on the book, I like it because of what it represents. It represents a self-educating community. It represents personal development, self-love, self-care, self-growth, self-awareness, self-empowerment. And essentially, when you hear the word Selfedunity, I'm like, do I want to share this video right now because of just what I'm sharing about Selfedunity that I haven't really shared before? But then I also feel like it was meant to be a personal video, but I might share it. So if I do, then hello, how are you? Essentially, the wording Selfedunity, it sounds like to me you're uniting with yourself, which is such a brilliant and personal, powerful expression of what the word really is, right? It is, and it is an alignment now that I'm using it as the name of my Etsy shop. I am playing with this quote that is, to be honest about where you are is to put yourself in the best direction, in the best position to get where you want to be. And that's also like, to unite with yourself is to be honest with yourself, to see, where am I right now? Like, what am I feeling? And if I'm feeling stuck in a moment in time, then rather than trying to like force myself to get out of feeling stuck, I'm looking at, why am I feeling stuck? And again, this is where journals come in so beautifully handy. This is my personal print, the first print of my journal, to see the quality, and I used Lulu for this, and now I'm using Gelato. And then when I look into that, okay, I'm feeling stuck because of these things. And it's like, okay. And then really be with myself in the feeling. At least for me, I've been pretty avoidant of feeling undesirable feelings. So then being with myself in that feeling and kind of holding my hand through it. And whenever I'm capable of doing that, which isn't always, sometimes I get overwhelmed and I'm like, okay, it's still a practice, which I think maybe it always will be. And I think eventually we get more fluent at whatever it is we're practicing. But in the beginning, it feels like we're stumbling and falling quite a bit. And so whenever I've been able to hold my hand through the emotion, through the feeling, there is a point in which it feels like there's a breath of fresh air that comes in, when it goes from feeling heavy and like dark, and then there's this lightness that comes in that can feel like a breath of fresh air, or that can feel like that delicious feeling when the sun is touching your skin and you're relaxing and there's no place for you to go, no place I'd rather be. You have that feeling and it just feels amazing. It's like it comes in increments and it starts feeling fresher. And sometimes you don't feel good afterwards, but it still feels lighter or fresher. There's a sense of relief. And then at that point, we can ask ourselves, what is in our hands? What can we influence? What change that we have observed that we are in need of? Like if we're going to use the example of stuckness, when we look at, okay, these are the things that are making me feel stuck. Now, what is it that I can influence? What can I create change within? Because sometimes there are going to be things that we feel like we're not able to change yet. There's that sense of not being empowered, which is why self-empowerment is a big focus for me. And when we're looking at, okay, this is something actually that I can influence. I can do something about this one thing in this whole thing that feels like stuckness. Let me change, or let me do something with this one thing. And then once we practice, and I feel like this is where, like, one of my journals is called Step by Step. And I also have this beautiful person that I know called Cedric, who is he's an entrepreneur. He owns his own business, and I think he read a book or something about eating the biggest frog. Okay, no, so I'm going to use it different. So what he would do is take the biggest thing and start there. For me, as someone who is still learning about my own ability to influence change, to be to feel self-empowered and to be self-empowered, to achieve, to accomplish, to be successful, I'm still learning about my ability in all of that. So for me, it's better to start with the smallest things, or to start with what I'm most excited about. But I would still recommend to start with what you feel the most capable of doing. If you're also working with your self-confidence, your ability to influence change in your life. Because when you start with the smallest things and you're able to do it, you accomplish it, then you feel you've kind of built your self-esteem for the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next, instead of starting with the biggest thing. Because for me, what I would do is, like, I'd have this huge vision, and then I'm like, okay, I need to fulfill that vision right now. So it's been very helpful for me to have the vision and then look at my goals connected with that vision. Okay, what are steps that I can do right now, today? And again, that links with, to be honest about where I am. What is it that I have? Instead of saying that, okay, I need to become this person, this kind of person that wakes up every day at 4 a.m. and, like, goes for a jog, because then I'll have the energy to be able to create this huge business and succeed. And it's like creating these huge steps that I'm not able to meet yet. It's like, again, let me be honest with myself about where I am. What do I genuinely feel ready and capable of doing? And then having that, like, I don't want to call it balance. You could call it tempering, and maybe also experience it for yourself. What am I genuinely able to put into? How much time am I able to put into this thing? And how do I feel? It's like an experiential thing. You're learning through experience, versus just trying to think your way to the best solution, which is a trap that I've been in many times. Okay, so if you've been there, or if you are there, then you are not alone. Yeah. So that's really what Selfedunity is about. I feel like that was nice. So really, I came on here to just share the idea that I have with myself, which I like to do, to hear myself vocalize it. And I was like, okay, do I want to buy this domain or not? Because domains are, I watched this video about NFTs, and they were talking about how domains are the only thing that we can really own on the internet. And I was like, And then I saw this other domain when I was looking at the Selfedunity domain that was like selfempowerment.net. And it was like $4,800 or something like that. And I can get the Selfedunity domain now for $48. That includes tax though, so I should probably learn about this tax thing. So like that's a good bargain, and eventually as that brand grows, um, that's going to be nice to have a domain for that. So what's confusing me and making me hesitate, so again, that's being honest about, okay, this is what I'm feeling, instead of just like plowing through. I'm considering what's coming up in my being, which is like, are you sure that it's necessary? Are you sure that it's worth the money that you're putting into it? I feel like Selena Dobea is like my personal brand, my personal lifestyle brand. I feel like things that I create, any recognition that I get, let's say I go on different podcasts, I can present as Selena Dobea and that be linked with my personal brand. From Selena Dobea, from me as a person and me as a business, I've created Selfedunity. Now, legally, Selfedunity doesn't have to be under Selena Dobea. It can be next to, or it could be within. It could be under, whatever it makes sense to do. Right now, I'm not in a position where I can see the best solution legally. I have yet to learn more about sole proprietorship, which is what Selena Dobea is, and I'm considering changing that as well. But I still have a few years here in Norway to consider how I want to do things. Because I haven't profited as much from it, it could still be considered a hobby versus a sole proprietorship, and I'm wondering, is it beneficial for me to shut it down as a sole proprietorship and then reopen it later along the line, later on? Or what's the best solution, which I don't know yet. And again, being honest about, I don't know. That's something I need to learn if I want to know more about it and be in a more informed be in a position to be more informed about making the decision. Okay, and then Selfedunity, I don't need to register it yet. Again, in Norway, there's like a certain amount that you need to make until you then have to register it as a business versus a hobby. And so because I'm not there yet, and I've learned that from my Selena Dobea registration experience, I can be more relaxed about that. Before I was like, I need to put everything in order and make this entire plan and like foolproof, and everything needs to be perfecto before I will have any chance at succeeding. And now I'm more in this position of, okay, I'm more relaxed, I'm more in awareness about things, and it's nice. So, yeah, back to the question, is creating this domain necessary? I feel like I can go without it, but in terms of building SEO, which is like, even if I don't bring a lot of traffic into the website itself, I feel like it's nice to have a landing page for Selfedunity in itself. And I want to link Selfedunity to Selena Dobea, which is something Anna Kidney has done, where she has her website, and then you click something and you go to another website, which to me has been a little bit frustrating. So I want to see if I can make that transition clean in some way. Selena Dobea is more like my blog. It's not more like, it is my blog. And Selfedunity is kind of, again, where I'm putting these, where I want to put my journals, my products. But then now I'm wondering, should I just move my blog to Selfedunity? But then I'll lose out on the traction that Selena Dobea has already been able to build. For me, Selena Dobea is the writer. Whatever book I make, I want to put Selena Dobea there. I want to consider this. I need to charge my computer. there is an aspect of me that genuinely needs, desires recognition and acknowledgement. And I can sense that there's this fear of not receiving the attention that I desire by having Selfedunity as the name versus Selena Dubea. Will people know that it's me? Is a question. And that's a genuine question of like how how important is that for me to be at the forefront of my creations, to have my name on all of my products? Do I need that? You know? And I feel like yes and no. Now I'm like, okay, it wouldn't be so bad to have my name on the journal. I'm excited to get the other one, so I'm waiting on the 3 newest journals that I've made. So the updated version of this, which has been changed on the inside as well. You can see how this looked on the inside. I didn't like these on the back. I mean, they're nice illustrations, but like if you see the front is very soft, and those were pretty harsh to me, so I didn't feel like they fit well in. But the butterfly I kept, and this one I kept, and I changed those other things, and I changed the text on the back, and I don't have this in the new one. And then I made an entire new book with that logo just on the front, and then I didn't include that, and then it starts with texts. Yeah, so it's changed. And then I have the step-by-step journal, which is like a small pocket-sized journal that I want to have as like for me a book of priorities, where I can have like, okay, what are my steps today? What is my main focus today of something I want to accomplish or do? And then if that includes, if there are steps within that, then I can write those down as well. If I'm doing something and I have another idea, I can add that to that list. So I wanted it to be just a small page, small book, so that there's not space for me to put a whole lot in there. And I want it to be like a daily thing where I don't have to write in it daily, but whatever I write is for that day. Or we'll see. Again, that's my idea about it. We'll see how my experience with it and how it works in action. And then the last book, the third of the bunch, is the Book of Visions, which is just a completely blank book, but the external is beautiful. I love the design. And I use Canva for my design, so I use already made illustrations and put it together to create this beautiful thing. I am playing with my own sketching and things as well, so that might make it to my products eventually, but for now I'm enjoying using Canva and just focusing on being where I am and creating from where I am. And I can't tell you like how relieving that is, how much of a relief that is, because I have like that feeling of stuckness I've been feeling that for some time, you know. So I'm doing this now where I'm looking at what am I able to do from where I am to release that knot of stuckness that I feel, you know. And yeah. So the Book of Visions is for, I created it from the space of when I was, close your eyes, and I was just envisioning, and I was like, it would be nice to have a space to write down my visions, maybe to see the evolution of them, to have them just written down somewhere, but it's not necessary to write them down, but it also makes them more closer to physical manifestation, because they can be very like floaty and up there, which is beautiful, but it can also turn into never being put into action. And so there's something about when you write it down, then it's closer to physical manifestation. I feel one step closer. And then I also sometimes when I go to bed, I want, like, I can lay in that darkness, that stillness, and feel like, oh, I want to write about these things. And then I don't want to get my laptop out. I don't want to get my iPad out. I want to have something that feels clean, or something that isn't going to disrupt my frequency, which our technological appliances have their own frequency that interferes with our frequency, so it's not good to have it around us. But trust me, I've been sleeping next to my laptop for some years, okay? So you're not alone again if that's what you're doing. But yeah, to have a journal or space where I can write down these things, and also to envision things before you sleep is, I've been recommended doing that, because when we sleep, we're more open. So if you're going to bed with this vision, something you want to create, practicing really putting yourself in the feeling of that, in the frequency of how that's going to feel to be there, and you go to sleep with that frequency, then it's more likely to, I guess, attract that experience into real life as well, something like that. Don't remember it. But yeah, that is what's up. Back to Selfedunity. Do I want to buy the domain? I'm trying to understand how that will influence Selena Dubea. Parts of me feels like it'll take attention away from Selena Dubea and onto Selfedunity. And I'm wondering, so if I'm looking at the things that I want to do, right? Okay, so now this is where it kind of goes personal, and I'm wondering, do I want to share this or not? And it goes into the category of, if I'm going to share it, then it needs to be in some years, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Or maybe we'll just leave this video here for now, and then I'll do a new recording so that I can share this one sooner rather than later. Don't you know, bump it up. You guys do bump it up. Okay, so I'll share this. Feels scary. I'll share this if I buy Selfedunity, or even if I don't. But when the decision is made, whether I'm getting it or not, that's when I'll upload this video. Okay? Because then I can. Okay, that feels good. Ciao.